2, 1. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
We are online.
Everybody, we are back. For another evening of Srimad Bhagavatam. Yeah. Amazing.
Okay.
So, it's me again. Gonna read from Srimad Bhagavatam, third canto.
It's never ending, Bhagavatam.
Oh, that's true. Bhagavatam is never ending.
Never ending. Get used to it.
So we're reading, first of all, though, we have to read from Bhagavat Mahima Stotra from Srimad Goswami. Excuse me. You sticking around or going back and walk?
I have to go because I took my break.
Okay, it's just me then, and the audience and Davies. Cool.
Okay.
I think Maharaj wants to have a word with you about where to see
Maybe
his arrangements.
So yeah, you just bring it down.
Yeah, I'll bring it down. Cool. Thanks. From Sri Krishna Leela. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Sarasatim Vyasam Tato Jayat Undirayat. So, Sarva Shastrabdi Piyusha Sarva Vedaika Satpala Sarva Siddhanta Ratnadya Sarva Loke Kadriprada. O nectar from the ocean of all scriptures, singular fruit of all the Vedas, rich mine of the precious gems of all conclusive truths, you are the only giver of sight to all the worlds. Sarva Bhagavata Prana Srimad Bhagavat Prabhu Kali Vanto Ditya Sri Krishna Parivartata. O live heir of the Supreme Lord's devotees, O Master Srimad Bhagavatam, you are the sun risen in the darkness of Kali. You are the exact image of Sri Krishna. Paramananda Patnaya Premavarshakshya Sevaya. You are supreme. You can always Madhuroman Mahadananda Namostu, constant companion, my savior, my source of ecstasy. I Adinacho Munchajinman Kantayos Pura. O saintly, O exalter of the most fallen, please now, always with pure love. Yeah. We're on third canto. Followed by general back. Supremely powerful living entity and such acts do not affect the fiery planet in the universe, can evaporate water from anywhere and still remain as powerful. The sun evaporates water and yet is not infected with the quality of the filth. Similarly, Brahma remains in all conditions, but still, since he is the spiritual master of all living entities, his behavior and character should be so ideal that people follow such sublime behavior and arrive the highest spirit would not have acted as he did. And if you remember from yesterday, Lord Brahma wanted to have sexual relations with his daughter, and all his sons were bewildered, you may say bewildered by such an act, and they started to convince him of not to do it. So they started speaking to him. Text number 32. Let us offer our respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead, who by his own effulgence, while situated in himself, has manifested this cosmos. May he also protect religion for all goodness. Purport Srila Prabhupada. Lust for sexual intercourse is so strong that it appears herein that Brahma could not be dissuaded from his determination in spite of the appeal by his great sons like Marichi. Therefore the great sons began to pray to the Supreme Lord for the good sense of Brahma. It is only by the grace of the Supreme Lord that one can be protected from the allurement of lusty material desires. The Lord gives protection to devotees who are always engaged in his transcendental loving service, and by his causeless mercy he forgives the accidental fall of a devotee. Therefore, sages like Marichi prayed for the mercy of the Lord, and their prayer was fruitful. Text number 33. The father of all Prajapatis, Brahma, thus seeing all his Prajapati sons speaking in that way, became very much ashamed, and at once gave up the body he had accepted. Later that body appeared in all directions as a dangerous fog in darkness. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The best way to compensate for one's sinful acts is to give up one's body at once. And Brahma, the leader of the living entities, showed this by his personal example. Brahma has a fabulous duration of life, but he was obliged to give up his body due to his grievous sin, even though he had merely contemplated it in his mind without having actually done it. This is a lesson for the living entities, showing how sinful an act is to indulge in unrestricted sex life. Even to think of abominable sex life is sinful. To compensate for such acts, one has to give up his body. In other words, one's duration of life, blessings, opulence, etc., are decreased by sinful acts. And the most dangerous type of sinful act is unrestricted sex. Ignorance is the cause of sinful life, or sinful life is the cause of gross ignorance. The feature of ignorance is darkness or fog. Darkness or fog still covers the whole universe, and the sun is the only counteracting principle. One who takes shelter of the Lord, the perpetual light, has no fear of being annihilated in the darkness of fog or ignorance. Text number 34. Once upon a time, when Brahma was thinking of how to create the worlds as in the past millennium, the four Vedas, which contain all varieties of knowledge, became manifested from his four mouths. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. As a fire can consume anything and everything without being contaminated, so by the grace of the Lord, the fire of Brahma's greatness consumed his desire for the sinful act of sex with his daughter. The Vedas are the source of all knowledge. They were first revealed to Brahma by the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, while Brahma was thinking of recreating the material world. Brahma is powerful by dint of his devotional service unto the Lord, and the Lord is always ready to forgive his devotee if by chance he falls down from the noble path of devotional service. The Srimad Bhagavatam 11.5.42 confirms this as follows. Svapada mulam bhajata priyasya Tyakvanya Bhavasya Hari Pareshaha Vikarma Yakchopatitam Katanchit Dunoti Sarvam Hriti Sanvishtaha. Any person who is engaged 100% in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, his feet, is very dear to the personality of God. And the Lord, being situated in the heart of the devotee, excuses all kinds of sins committed by chance. It was never expected that a great personality like Brahma would ever think of sex indulgence with his daughter. The example shown by Brahma only suggests that the power of material nature is so strong that it can act upon everyone, even Brahma. Brahma was saved as a punishment, but by the grace of the Lord, he did not lose his prestige as the text 35. Translation. The four kinds of paraphernalia for conducting the fire sacrifice became manifest. The performer, the chanter, the offerer, and the act in terms of the supplementary Vedas. Also the four principles of religion: truth, austerity, mercy, cleanliness, and the duties in the four social orders all became manifest. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Eating, sleeping, defending, and mating are four principles which material bodily demands, which are common to both the animals and the human society. To distinguish human society from the animals, there is the performance of religious activities in terms of the social statuses and orders of life. All mentioned in the Vedic literatures and were manifested by Brahma, and the four Vedas were generated for male. Thus, the duties of humankind in terms of the statuses and social orders were established to be observed. Traditional principles are called guardians or progressive human beings. Text 36. Vidura said, O great sage, whose only wealth is penance, kindly explain to me how and with whose help Brahma established the Vedic knowledge which emanated from. Text number 37. Maitreya said, beginning from the front face of Brahma, gradually four Vedas, Rik, Yajur, Sam, and Atharva, became manifest. Thereafter, Vedic hymns which had not been pronounced before, prescribers of the recitation, and were all established. Text number 38. He also created the medical science, military art, musical art, and architecture, all from the Vedas. They all emanated one after another, beginning from the front face. The Vedas contain perfect knowledge, which includes all kinds of knowledge for the human society, not only in this particular planet, but on other planets as well. It is understood that military art is also necessary knowledge for the upkeep of social order, as is the art of music. All these groups of knowledge are called the Upa-Purana, or supplements of the Vedas. Spiritual knowledge is the main topic of the Vedas, but to help the human being's spiritual pursuit of knowledge, the other information, as above mentioned, forms necessary branches of the Vedic knowledge. Text number 39. Then he created the fifth Veda, the Puranas and the histories, from all his mouths, since he could see all the past, present, and future. Srila Prabhupada. There are histories of particular countries and nations and of the world, but the Puranas are the histories of the universe, not only in one millennium, but in many kalpas. Brahma has knowledge of those historical facts, and therefore all the Puranas are histories. As originally composed by Brahma, they are part of the Vedas and are called the fifth Veda. Text 40. All the different varieties of fire sacrifices, Shadashi, Mukta, Parishi, Agnishtoma, Aptoryama, Adhiratra, Vajrapeya, and Gosava became manifested from the eastern Brahma. Text 41. Education, penance, and truth are said to be the four legs of religion, and to learn there are four orders of life, classifications of castes, and qualification. Break all these in Srila Prabhupada. The list of the four social orders: brahmacharya or student life, grihastha or household or family life, vanaprastha or retired life, penance, and or an life for preaching the truth. Four legs of religion. The Vaishnava divisions are the Brahmins, the intelligent class, the Kshatriyas, or the administrative class, the Vaishnavas, or mercantile productive class, and the Shudras, or general labor class, with no specific qualifications. All were systematically planned and created by Brahma for the promotion of self-realization. Student life is meant for acquiring the best. Household, family life is meant for provided it is performed with a charitable disposition of mind. Retirement life is meant for penance, for advancement in spiritual life, and renounced life is meant for preaching the absolute truth to the people in general. The combined actions of all members of society make the whole situation favourable for the upliftment of the mission of human life. The aim of the social institution is education for purifying the animal propensity of the human being. The highest purificatory process is knowledge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the purest of the pure. Now, text number 42. Then the tread ceremony for the twice born was inaugurated, as were the rules to be followed for at least 1 year after acceptance of the Vedas. Rules for observing complete abstinence, sex life, occasions and conjunctions, various professional household life, and the method of maintaining a livelihood without anyone's cooperation by picking up rejected grains. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. During student life, the brahmacharis were given full instructions about the importance of the human form of life. Thus, the basic education was designed to encourage the student in becoming free from family encumbrances. Only students unable to accept such a vow in life were allowed to go home and marry a suitable wife. Otherwise, the student would remain a permanent brahmachari. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Observing complete abstinence from sex life for his whole life. It all depended on the quality of the student's training. We had the opportunity to meet an avowed brahmachari in the personality of our spiritual master, Om Vishnupad Sri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaj. So the great soul is called Naishtika Brahmachari. 3. The 4 divisions of retired life are the Vaikanasas, Valakilyas, Adumbaras, and Penavaras. The 4 divisions of the renounced order of life are the Kutichakas, Bhavodas, Hansas, and Nishkriyas. All these were manifested from Brahmana. The Varnashram Dharma, or the institution of the 4 divisions and orders of social and spiritual life, is not a new invention of the modern age, as proposed by the less intelligent. It is an institution established by Brahma from the beginning of the creation. This is also confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 4.13. Chaturvanyam maya shishtam. Text number 44. The science of logical argument, the vague goals of life, and also law and order, moral codes, and the celebrated hymns, Bu, Uva, and Sva, all became manifested from the mouths of Brahma, and the Pranava Omkar was manifested from his heart. Text number 45. Thereafter, the art of literary expression, Ushnik, was generated from the hairs on the body of the Almighty Prajapati. The principal Vedic hymn, Gayatri, was generated from the skin, Trishtup from the flesh, Anushtup from the veins, and Jagati from the bones of the Lord of the living entities. Text number 46. The art of writing verse, Hanti, became manifested in the bone marrow, and that of Brihati, another type of verse, was generated from the life breath of the Lord of the living entities. Text number 47. Brahmana's soul was manifested as the touch alphabets, his body as the vowels, his senses as the sibilant alphabets, his strength as the intermediate alphabets, and his sensual activities as the 7 notes of music. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Okay. In Sanskrit, there are 13 vowels and 35 consonants. I don't know the vowels and consonants. Anyway. Among the consonants, the first 25 letters are called as sparshas. There are also 4 antashtas of the ushnas. There are 3 s's called talavya, murdanya, and tantya. The musical notes are sha, or, ga, ma, da, and ni. All these sound vibrations are originally called Shabda Brahma, or spiritual sound. It is said, therefore, that Brahma was created in the Mahakalpa as the incarnation of spiritual sound. The Vedas are spiritual sound, and therefore there is no need of material interpretation as they are, although they are symbolically represented with letters which are known to us materially. In the ultimate issue, there is nothing material because everything has its origin in the spiritual world. The material manifestation is therefore called illusion in the proper sense of the term. For those who are realized souls, there is nothing but spirit. You can come over. There's a book there as well, if you want to join.
48, is it?
Yeah. So, translation. Brahma is the personal representation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the source of transcendental sound and is therefore above the conception of manifested and unmanifested. Brahma is the complete form of the absolute truth and is invested with multifarious energies. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The post of Brahma is the highest responsible post within the universe, and it is offered to the most perfect personality of the universe. Sometimes the Supreme Personality of Godhead has to become Brahma when there is no suitable living being to occupy the post. In the material world, Brahma is the complete representation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and transcendental sound, pranava, comes from him. He is therefore invested with multifarious energies from which all the demigods, like Indra, Chandra and Varuna, are manifested. His transcendental value is not to be minimized, even though he exhibited a tendency to enjoy his own daughter. There is a purpose for the exhibition of such a tendency by Brahma, and he is not to be condemned like an ordinary living entity. Text number 49. Thereafter, Brahma accepted another body, in which sex life was not forbidden, and thus he engaged himself in the matter of further creation. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. In his former body, which was transcendental, affection for sex life was forbidden, and Brahma therefore had to accept another body to allow himself to be connected with sex. He thus engaged himself in the matter of creation. His former body transformed into fog as previously described. Text number 50. The son of the Kurus, O son of the Kurus, when Brahma saw that in spite of the presence of sages of great potency, there was no sufficient increase in population, he seriously began to consider how the population could be increased. Text number 51. Brahma thought to himself, alas, it is wonderful that in spite of being scattered all over, there is still insufficient population throughout the universe. There is no other cause for this misfortune but destiny. Number 52. While he was thus absorbed in contemplation and was observing the supernatural power, two other forms were generated from his body. They are still celebrated as the body of Brahma. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Two bodies came out from the body of Brahma. One had a mustache and the other had swollen breasts. No one can explain the source of their manifestation, and therefore until today they are known as the Kayan, or the body of Brahma, with no indication of their relationship as his son or daughter. Number 53. The two newly separated bodies united together in a sexual relationship. Number 54. Out of them, the one who had the male form became known as the Manu, named Swayambhuv, and the woman became known as Shatarup, the queen of the great soul Manu. Number 55. Thereafter, by sex indulgence, they gradually increased generations of population one after another. number 56. O son of Bharat, in due course of time, he, Manu, begot in Shatarup 5 children, 2 sons, Priyavrata and Uttanapad, and 3 daughters, Akuti, Devahuti, and Prasuti. Does anyone, you guys know who they are? You know who Manu is?
No, sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Manu.
Manu, yeah, I've heard about it. Like, but I don't know the internal story. I just know the word you.
Manu is the father of mankind.
Manikan.
The father of mankind.
Okay, father of mankind. Okay.
He's like the very first human being, you might say.
Uh-huh.
You ever heard of the Manu Samhita? No?
Sorry.
It's kind of like the directions given by man for humankind.
Okay.
How to live
Okay.
properly.
Uh-huh.
So it is. It's not a very well known book, but there is a book called Manu Samhita.
Manu Samhita, is it?
I don't know if you can actually get it anywhere, but
Okay.
there is such a book. But yeah, he's the first human being, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, that's what I saw that.
So, 57. Translation. The father, Manu, handed over his daughter, Akuti, to the sage Ruchi, the middle daughter, Devahuti, to the sage Cardamon, and the youngest, Prasuti, to Daksha. From them, all the world filled with population. Purport Srila Prabhupada. The history of the creation of the population of the universe is given herewith. Brahma is the original living creature in the universe, from whom were generated the Manu Swayambhuv and his wife Shatarup. From Manu, 2 sons and 3 daughters were born, and from them all the population in different planets has sprung up until now. Therefore, Brahma is known as the grandfather of everyone, and the personality of Godhead, being the father of Brahma, is known as the great grandfather of all living beings. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 11:39 as follows: Vayar Yamo Nirvaruna Chashankaha Prajapati Tvam Prapitam Mahash Cha Namo Namaste Stu Sahasra Pritvaha Punascha Bhuyopi Namo Namaste. You are the Lord of air, the supreme justice, Yama, the fire, and the Lord of rains. You are the moon, and you are the great grandfather. Therefore, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you again and again. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the 3rd canto, 12th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Creation of the Kumaras and Others. You ever read Srimad Bhagavatam before?
My family has read Bhagavad Gita. But I need to start reading soon. Bhagavad Gita, it's very important.
Yeah, like my family has gone through it as well, but I haven't gone through. Like I've gone through the slogans used in Bhagavad Gita, but not read the complete book.
Well, Bhagavad Gita is like, how would you call it?
Cycle of life.
It has that, but it's like the first book you begin with in Vedic, Vedic knowledge.
Okay.
So it's like a preliminary study of Vedic knowledge.
Have you read the whole book?
Bhagavad Gita or?
Bhagavad Gita.
Yes, I read it.
How many
Twice.
times? Twice.
I must read it again. It's been a while since I sat down and read it.
So how did you start exploring Bhagavad Gita? When did you start?
Probably when I started, maybe who gave me the book? Around 2011, 2012.
Okay.
I think it was in the Yeah, he said read at least, try to read a verse a day.
Oh, okay. And do you understand completely?
Everything in it?
Yeah.
No, not everything.
No, not everything.
No, not yet. There's a lot of
I
information.
know that's what even like I have started reading Bhagavad Gita, but sometimes I'm not able to understand things, so I
But
just.
this is why we ask more superior people in our movement, our Hare Krishna movement. If we have questions, then we ask them. Like a guru, we usually have a guru, we ask questions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or some elevated devotees, at least, you know, because they'll have studied it so much more than I have.
Sorry, are you recording?
Yes, this is live, online.
Oh,
In live?
Yes.
Okay. I think you haven't clicked on the record, but I'm not sure.
alright.
It is it.
Oh yeah, sorry for
Yeah,
that.
don't worry.
Yeah.
Don't worry. Because we do this for days a week. But
Okay.
this particular book is Srimad Bhagavatam.
Bhagavatam.
Yeah.
And like.
This is like a history of many of the stories of Vishnu and many demigods. Yeah.
Vishnu and?
No, Vishnu.
Yeah.
No, Vishnu.
Yeah, Lord
Yeah.
Vishnu, yeah.
Or Lord Ganesh, not really in it so much, but there's like
Brahma.
Lord Shiva, Lord Ram,
Oh, okay. Uh-huh.
and then there's a major part of it is Krishna and Balaram.
Okay.
And also many of the kings from years and millions of years ago,
Okay.
and their ancestors. And it's like a history book, but it gives a lot of Vedic knowledge as well, Vedic wisdom in it as well.
So.
This is like what they call the cream. You understand what cream is? Of Vedic knowledge.
Okay,
So
okay.
it's like the topmost.
So what do you suggest, reading this before Bhagavad Gita or after Bhagavad Gita?
This is once you've kind of read Bhagavad Gita, then this is good to kind of start reading as well.
Okay.
Because this explores it even to a deeper level than just Bhagavad Gita. Like Bhagavad Gita is like a roadmap of, you might say, of us to live in and become, what do you call it? Yeah, how to live in this material world, yeah, and also how to be spiritual.
Bhagavad
But
Gita.
this actually gives a description of the material world and the spiritual world and how to become sort of devoted to God.
Okay.
You know, like the Srimad Bhagavatam. Yeah,
Interesting.
in a much deeper level.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's so many stories.
Yeah, actually, many
There's-
stories.
There's 18,000 verses, and there's
18,000?
18,000 yes,
Oh,
verses in the Srimad Bhagavatam,
okay.
and there's that size book. I think there's 18 of them that size.
Oh my god.
Oh
Read.
my god.
Yeah.
Have you read? How many have
No,
you read?
I've only read. I'm only up to the 4th canto.
Okay.
There's 12 cantos.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You have read 4?
I'm on the 4th. I haven't completed
Wow,
it
that's
yet.
nice.
Takes a long time.
Yeah. To
But
understand as well.
We're advised to read some every day, so that
Yeah.
it
Okay.
doesn't seem like such a pressure on you.
So does it impact our normal life routine?
Wait,
Like does
thoughts?
it change your view of?
It does, because it's a transcendental sound vibration. Yeah. So when something's transcendental, it's going to purify your mind, and purify your heart.
Make you calm and composed. Okay.
Yeah, that's one aspect of it. But we have a tendency to be materially motivated. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So the more we engage in spiritual activities, speaking and talking about spiritual topics, the more we do that, the less inclined we are to be materially motivated. Yeah?
Okay.
And that's where the whole cleansing process happens.
Yes.
By reading, just by reading and hearing. Hearing and reading. There's those two actions. Cleanses slowly. Also other things as well, you know. I mean, I'm sure you guys from India, you're aware of Hare Krishna.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
What goes on?
Yeah, of course.
Chanting,
Yeah,
dancing,
yeah.
feasting.
Yeah.
Oh, that's all part of it.
Like for us, like they are the god, right? Ganesh, Shiva, Brahma, Vishnu, they are all the god. Like we worship them every day. Like every day we have some sessions for devotion in our hometown. Like my mom and parents do.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like a normal routine for them.
You guys are students, you know?
He's a student. I'm working.
Okay.
Are you from Ireland?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, we still have another 10 minutes if you want to keep going. Or
Yeah,
is
yeah.
there
Yeah,
any rush?
that's okay. Yeah.
We just finished that chapter.
Okay.
So we're on to the next chapter, which is chapter 13, the appearance of Lord Varaha. So, this is an interesting pastime, I might say. This is an interesting pastime. So, chapter 13, the appearance of Lord Varaha, text 1. Translation. Sri Shukdev Goswami said, O King, after hearing all these most virtuous topics from the sage Maitreya, Vidura inquired further on the topics of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which he adored to hear. So yeah, that's what Srimad Bhagavatam is. It's topics about the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Okay.
Yeah? So there's so many topics. And Lord Varaha is an incarnation
Okay.
of Supreme. He came here a long time ago, many millions of years ago,
Yeah.
to do a particular, to enact a particular pastime.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is part of the story which you read. So, purport. The word Advaita is significant because it indicates that Vidura had a natural inclination for hearing the transcendental messages of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he was never fully satisfied, though continuing to hear those topics. He wanted to hear more and more so that he could be more and more blessed by the transcendental message. Text 2. Vidura said, O great sage, what did Swayambhuv, the dear son of Brahma, do after obtaining his very loving wife? Text number 3. O best of the virtuous, the original king of kings, Manu, was a great devotee of the personality of Godhead, Hari, and thus it is worth hearing of his sublime character and activities. Please describe them. I am very eager to hear. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srimad Bhagavatam is full of the transcendental topics of the personality of Godhead and his pure devotees. In the absolute world, there is no difference in quality between the Supreme Lord and his pure devotee. Therefore, hearing the topics of the Lord and hearing of the character and activities of the pure devotee have the same result, namely the development of devotional service. Text number 4. Persons who hear from a spiritual master with great labour and for a long time must hear from the mouths of pure devotees about the character and activities of pure devotees. Pure devotees always think within their hearts of the lotus feet of the personality of Godhead, who awards his devotees liberation. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Transcendental students are those who undergo great penance in being trained by hearing the Vedas from a bona fide spiritual master. Not only must they hear from the activities of the Lord, but they must also hear about the transcendental qualities of the devotees who are constantly thinking of the lotus feet of the Lord within their hearts. A pure devotee of the Lord cannot be separated from the lotus feet of the Lord for even a moment. Undoubtedly, the Lord is always within the hearts of all living creatures, but they hardly know about it because they are deluded by the illusory material energy. The devotees, however, realize the presence of the Lord, and therefore they can always see the lotus feet of the Lord within their hearts. Such pure devotees of the Lord are as glorious as the Lord. They are, in fact, recommended by the Lord as more worshipable than He Himself. Worship of the devotee is more potent than worship of the Lord. It is therefore the duty of the transcendental students to hear of pure devotees, as explained by similar devotees of the Lord. Because one cannot explain about the Lord or His devotee unless one happens to be a pure devotee himself.
That's
Very
true,
important.
yeah.
So when you seek out a guru,
Sorry?
when you are seeking out a guru or spiritual master, at some point you may, it's best to check that he's pure, a pure devotee. He's in the parampara, you know paramparas?
Paramparas, yeah.
Check that he's in parampara. Check text 5. Sri Shukdev Goswami said, the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, was pleased to place his lotus feet on the lap of Vidura because Vidura was very meek and gentle. The sage Maitreya was very pleased with Vidura's words, and being influenced by his spirit, he attempted to speak. Excuse me. Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada. The word Sahasra Shirshnaha is very significant. One who has diverse energies and activities and a wonderful brain is known as the Sahasra Shirshnaha. This qualification is applicable only to the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, and no one else. The personality of Godhead was pleased to dine sometimes with Vidura at his home. And while resting, he placed his lotus feet on the lap of Vidura. Maitreya was inspired by the thought of Vidura's wonderful fortune. The hairs of his body stood on end, and he was pleased to narrate the topics of the personality of Godhead with great delight. Number 6. The sage Maitreya said to Vidura, after his appearance, Manu, the father of mankind, with his wife, thus addressed the red of Vedic wisdom, Brahma, with obeisances and folded hands. You are the father of all living entities and the source of their existence, because they are all born of you. Please order us how we may be able to render service unto you. Srila Prabhupada. A son's duty is not only to father the source of supply for all his needs, but also when he is grown up to render service unto him, of create time. A father's duty is to bring up the son until he is grown, and when the son is grown up, his duty to render service unto the father. Coming up in hand 7. Maybe we'll do one more. Text number 8. O worshipful one, please give us your direction, execution of duty, and our working capacity, so that we can follow it for fame and progress in this. Brahma is the direct recipient of Vedic knowledge, discharging his entrusted duties in the cyclic succession from Brahma is surely salvation. The distinct succession from Brahma is called Brahma Sampradaya, and and it descends as follows. Brahma, Vyas, Madhva Muni, Bharata, Nrihari, Madhava, Akshara, Vayatirtha, Jana Sindhu, Ayanidhi, Vijayanidhi, Rajendra, Purushottam, Brahmanyatirtha, Vyasatirtha, Lakshmipati, Madhavendra Puri, Ishvara Puri, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Swarup Dhar, and Shri Swami, Narottam Das Thakur, Vishwanath Chakravarti, Nath Das Babaji, Gaur Kishore Das Babaji, Srimad Bhaktivedanta Saraswati, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. This line of the cyclic succession is spiritual genealogical succession from man is material, but both are on a march towards the same goal.
These are the parameters that you
Yes,
were talking about.
this is there is other sampradayas, but this is the Brahma.
Okay, Brahmas, yeah.
In particular. There's also the root.
These are like towards the same goal. But,
This is like, and then someone came out like his disciple, then his disciple, and his disciple, and all the way. There's a Shiva sampradaya as well.
Okay.
It's four. As far as I know. Can't remember the ones. Anyway. So, the consciousness, as you know, is Brahma. So it's
Okay.
next Wednesday, Thursdays, and Fridays every week. So,
Thank you.
Very nice.
It was nice meeting you.
Hey,
Very nice.